The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Hello YouTube, how y'all doing? I hope this don't turn into be a long video, but it's liable to. And some of you may not like it. Some of you may. But this is a photo, actually, it's all it is, but it's of a radar system or some sort of anomaly that was picked up by radar. And so was this. This was during the JFK incident, JFK Jr. incident, where his plane went down. Explain a little story to y'all. I don't care what kind of frequency, I don't care what kind of equipment that you may be using to create damage to weather, anything that people call HAARP, whether it is HAARP or whether it's not, it doesn't matter. My point of it is this, and understand this when I tell you this: HAARP, NEXRAD, scalar squares, all the things that you've heard from a certain few know what they're talking about. And there's other ones that also know, but they have a failure to communicate. And I want everyone to understand that I'm not trying to discredit anyone. But there is some things I know that people annoy me with by overlooking. And they don't mention it. Number one, there's a thing called shootouts that CB radio operators do. I have seen enough power with these new electronic cars that the computer system, with enough power being transmitted out of one of those shootout vehicles, will literally cause a new car with all those electronics in it to completely shut off because of the RF override on the computer system. The electrical energy that's produced by the radio frequency. And now we're talking about CB frequencies. Okay? Now, those same frequencies are being transmitted multiply by a radio with HAARP and gizmos like that. Several different kinds of frequencies and bands that can be used with mega power. Understand when I say mega power, that's a lot. 3.6 million watts to be exact with HAARP, multiplied by 180 antennas times 10 dB gain, which is 10 dB for every 100 watts, would be 1,000 watts. Okay? Now, with me resting my case on that one, I got some stuff I want you to listen to, and then we're going to talk some more, and I'll explain a little more to you when this has all been read to you. I'm just tired of some of the comments.
He is correct. While it can be used in conjunction with weather modification, the primary directive of the auroral heater is to alter the conductivity of the electrojet. The electrojet is the thing that would overcharge and induce catastrophic current that destroyed our power. There is only way to stop that energy. Change the electrojet. Don't get me wrong. It's bad to play God, it has other uses, and they may make it worse. But the intent HAARP is an auroral device. Where the rotors are there other than at the poles. TTA are not HAARP. If you ever wondered why this community has weather modification evidence every day but never makes headway, this is why. We collectively swoon over the HAARP name and it is blatantly stupid. My Ford Focus is like a Hummer. It has wheel, seat belts, takes me places - am I wrong? Not technically, but yeah. I'm wrong. When I discussed them using weather modification to try to stop the solar system shift, what did you think I meant? Chemtrails, TTA, NEXRADS, Skeller. Pretty much everything except the direct auroral heating of HAARP. Sure, they can use the ELF emanations to reduce their efforts needed with other devices. But that's like saying I hunt in the daytime BC I can't see in the dark and therefore the sun is hunting, not me. That is the logic level needed to blame HAARP. Not that you did. The reason I was so gung-ho about it yesterday is because they people who would rather use the HAARP name than properly identify technology can use that BS definition to keep using the name and attracting viewers. It's just a shade above pure fraud.
Now, some of y'all heard the comments being read. That's a comment from a certain individual. And these comments, depending on who he's talking to, which I hope he's talking to me, you may be right on some of the things you say. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But when you come up saying fraud, that's a big word, and you should know what it means. I don't like that word. I don't like that word at all because I'm not a fraud. Never have been, never will be. But I am telling you this. Some of the things that you say are dead on. I don't disagree with. Some of the things you say when you're talking about HAARP, we disagree on big time. And it's not that we disagree on HAARP. It's we disagree because of the way you inform everybody about HAARP. Now, people need to know how dangerous HAARP can be. It took a long time to convince people and tell them that we even had HAARP. You come along after the fact of HAARP, the original start of HAARP and chemtrails. You're going off of other people's knowledge to start with, and you know exactly where I'm coming from when I say that. Let's listen to that one little part again.
The reason I was so gung-ho about it yesterday is because they people who would rather use the HAARP name than properly identify technology can use that BS definition to keep using the name and attracting viewers. It's just a shade above pure fraud.
Something else annoys me as well, and that's this little thing right here. Use this quite frequent. And when I say this, I'm just going to tell you something. You can use that all day long. But when electrical energy comes from the sun, you don't hear it in just one spot on a CB, a ham radio, or any other thing. You don't hear it. You might hear it on a certain band, but that ain't the only place that it has an effect. When you have the electrical energy come from the sun, if there's radio conditions out there, for any ham operator will tell you this, it don't matter what damn band you're on, your band is going to die from the electrical energy from the sun if it's bad enough. You won't have communications, period. Even if it's totally quiet, unless the guy's sitting right outside your door and he still has electricity to run his power or his radio. You can be sitting in the same area with the person, and if the conditions are totally correct, He can be 100 miles away and you still talk to him. But if you let something like this happen, there may not be no signal at all, but you won't hear him. You won't hear him at all. So when you come across with this chart, you're not always right, dude. You're not always right at all. See, when you get in here and you know everything, that's okay and fine. But do it in the right way, man. Quit crucifying people and belittling them. It's beneath you, really, to do those things to people or to anyone else, or to belittle them, to think that HAARP is good for you. HAARP's not good for anybody. Never has been. It wasn't designed to be good for anybody. It was designed as a weapon. You know that. I know that. The whole damn world knows that. So if we can get past the part to where we know that it's a weapon, period, of any kind. You have a friend that was playing with a microwave oven. I can take that microwave oven and build an antenna that will transmit in one direction, and it becomes a weapon. You do know that, correct? Or if you don't know that, talk to your buddy and he will tell you that he can take a test tube with water with no lid on it and boil water. Now, if he can boil water with just the lid off, just think about if it was focused into a beam, off of a beam that transmitted in one direction at 25 to 50 feet away, with the same power, which is multiplied by a 20 dB gain antenna, which makes the 1,000-watt microwave times 20 would be 20,000 watts. Now, if I was to take a watermelon and put in front of that, what would happen to the watermelon or anything else? The watermelon, of course, would boil inside until it bust open. Do you get my drift? Radio frequency waves is a very dangerous situation that people do not understand. They take it for granted because they have cell phones on their hip. That is very dangerous to them as well. They don't know that either. It's all propaganda to dumb people down. And my friend, I'm sorry, but that's what you're doing about HAARP. And I don't like it. I disagree with you. And I'm disagreeing because I know what I'm talking about. Because, see, I'm a little bit like R2. I like to experiment. And I know what the shit'll do. And I've been messing with radios since I was 12 fucking years old, and I'm 52 years old. I think I know a little bit about it. And I've built more antennas than you've probably ever seen. So don't play games. If you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, admit it, man. If you got a problem, don't come up with crap like this little line that you're fixing to hear again, because I'm going to play it one more time for you, because it's pissed me off.
The reason I was so gung-ho about it yesterday is because they people who would rather use the HAARP name than properly identify technology can use that BS definition to keep using the name and attracting viewers. It's just a shade above pure fraud.
And I'm not doing this to crucify you, and I'm not doing this to take anything away from you, because I'm proud of you for what you have done. But instead of working against people, wouldn't it be better if we all work together? We got enough problems in our country right now with them trying to take our guns, take away a lot of freedoms away from us, distracting us from the real truth. And that's what this seems to be to me, is distracting us from the real truth. And I'm not one of those people that can sit kindly to the side and watch it happen to me and to other people. Because I know 3 people that has worked really hard on creating and working to find the truth. And we've done a damn good job at doing that. With the links that we provide, not the ones to scientific gauges, but actual documented proof that shows you the proof, where you can go to the links and read for yourself. And some of it's been read to you, or it's on a blog so you can read it, or it's a book that you can look up, that you talk about quite frequently. Now, I'm sorry about the dogs barking in the background. I had to shut it off a minute, but understand that I'm not your enemy. I'm not trying to be your enemy. I'm not wanting anyone to be enemies. We're all fighting for the same cause, or at least I hope we are. And I know I'm showing you a hole in the ground, a sinkhole. Or is it a sinkhole? It's awful round for just one sinkhole. But maybe it is. Maybe it ain't. Maybe it was forced by some kind of frequency. Or electrical energy from the sun. Same thing. It's still frequency. It's still energy being created by either the sun or by man. Is there any way for us to know that? No, there's not. Gizmos and gadgets that test for that, you may not see it because you may not have had the right one on, or might not have seen the right machine at the right time. Now, with that, I got a couple of more little things here. And that one thing is to show you who I'm talking about. And I'm not going off, but this right here where I'm clicking and I'm taking you to another channel. I hope and pray, my friend, that this really has nothing to do with this. Because if it does, this right here needs to go away, and has for a long time. And it doesn't need to come back to try to destroy somebody like this person tried to do before. And I ain't got nothing against him either. But the hate and discontent needs not to happen anymore. So with that, and everybody knows that you got him linked up to your channel now. So much love to y'all, and y'all have a great evening.
If there's a blue pill and a red pill, and the blue pill is half the price of the red pill and works just as well, why not pay half price?